Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Teach Easy English. I'm Daisy. Today, we're looking at something you use all the time, your hand. This simple part of your body is actually the source of many fantastic idioms in English. We're talking about 10 phrases native speakers use constantly that you won't find in a basic dictionary. Mastering these 10 idioms based on the hand will instantly upgrade your fluency. Ready to reach out and grab this knowledge? Let's get started. 1. Give me a hand. The first one is probably the most popular idiom with the word hand in it, and that is give me a hand. This is a way of asking for help. So if someone says to you, "Hey, can you give me a hand?" that means they're asking you for help. Now, usually this is used to ask for help with physical labor, but it can be used for non-physical tasks as well. How to use it effectively. This phrase is extremely common and very informal. It's much quicker and friendlier than saying, "Could you please help me with this task?" It often implies a quick, temporary need for assistance, not a long-term commitment. Think of it as lending a hand for a moment. For example, if you are struggling with a tricky sentence in an email, you could ask, "Hey, could you give me a hand brainstorming a better opening line?" Say I'm trying to move this giant desk, right? It's really heavy and I can't lift it by myself. I would look at a friend and say, "Hey, could you just give me a hand?" I'm asking them for physical assistance with lifting this box. Okay? All right. Number 2 is have one's hands full. I've written one's over here because this is how you'll usually see it in dictionaries, and this means that it can be anybody. It can be to have my hands full, or have your hands full, or his or her. It can be anything. This means that you're really busy and often too focused on existing responsibilities to take on more tasks. How to use it effectively. This idiom creates a strong picture. Imagine literally carrying so many things that your hands are physically occupied. When used metaphorically, it means your time and mental energy are completely consumed. It's often used as an excuse for politely declining a request. For instance, if a colleague asks you to join a new committee, you might say, "Thanks for the offer, but with the launch next week, I have my hands full." This clearly communicates your current high workload. Imagine you're literally holding 2 coffee cups, a laptop bag, and a phone. Your hands are full. So we use it metaphorically. For instance, my sister is a single mom and she works 2 jobs. She has her hands full right now. It means she is completely busy and cannot do anything else. Okay? All right. Number 3 is to wash one's hands of something. STH means something, okay? It can be something or it can actually be somebody as well. Now, if you wash your hands off something or somebody, that means you deliberately end your involvement with that thing or with that person, often because you are frustrated or refuse to take responsibility for it anymore. How to use it effectively. This idiom comes from a very old story, specifically referencing Pontius Pilate washing his hands to show he wouldn't take responsibility for an event. Because of this, it carries a slightly dramatic or strong tone. You use it when you're making a conscious decision to walk away from a bad situation, a failing project, or a toxic relationship. The implication is often that the outcome is no longer your problem. For example, the committee's constant arguments were pointless, so the chairman decided to wash his hands of the whole process and resign. Let me give you a personal example. I used to have a motorbike. It was great, but then it started breaking down constantly, giving me a lot of problems. I got so fed up that I finally sold it for a very low price just to wash my hands of the constant repairs. I just wanted to end my involvement. Okay? Number 4 is to try one's hand at something. This means to try something for the first time, often an activity or skill that you have little or no previous experience with. How to use it effectively. This phrase implies a degree of curiosity or a mild desire to try something new. You aren't necessarily expecting success right away on the first attempt. You're simply giving it a go. It's a positive and encouraging phrase. You can try your hand at painting, playing golf, learning a new language, or starting a small online business. It's commonly used when talking about new hobbies or potential career shifts. For instance, after years as an accountant, she decided to try her hand at landscape photography. Say I've always watched cooking shows, but I've never baked a cake. I could say, I think next weekend I'm going to try my hand at baking a complicated French pastry, meaning I have never tried it before, but I would like to attempt it for the first time. Okay? All right. Number 5 is to know something like the back of one's hand. Now, the back of your hand is something that you know very well. You can recall every line, every detail instantly. So if you know something like the back of one's hand, that means you know that subject, place, or process extremely well, with total familiarity and confidence. This idiom conveys deep, effortless knowledge, or knowing it very well. It's often used when talking about locations, complex subjects, or specialized equipment. It indicates a level of expertise that goes beyond simply remembering facts. For instance, if you are asking directions, someone might say, "Don't worry, I can guide you. I know this neighborhood like the back of my hand." This assures you that they are a highly reliable source of information. If you grew up in a certain city, you don't need a GPS. You know that city like the back of your hand. That's the level of mastery we're talking about. Or, I have a friend who is a professor. He knows calculus like the back of his hand. He knows it really, really well. Okay? 6. In one's hands. Number 6 is in one's hands. If something is in your hands, that means that it is your responsibility or that the decision making authority for the outcome belongs to you or the person referenced. How to use it effectively? This idiom emphasizes authority and final say. It's often used in formal or serious contexts like business, law, or critical situations. It can be a source of confidence, the right person is in charge, or stress, the pressure is all on me. For example, after an investigation, we might say, the fate of the merger is now in the hands of the regulatory board. It means they are the ones who will ultimately decide what happens. Okay. 7. Give someone a free hand. Number 7 is free hand, and we commonly say that someone has a free hand or someone has been given a free hand. This means that someone has complete, total freedom and authority to do whatever they deem necessary, especially when making decisions or spending money. How to use it effectively? While similar to in one's hands, this idiom focuses specifically on the freedom granted. It's often used in contrast to situations where someone usually needs approval for every step. Giving a free hand means saying, "Go ahead, you don't need to check with me." However, it can sometimes imply a risk, as that freedom might be abused or lead to bad results if the person isn't skilled. The CEO told the new marketing manager, "You have a free hand with the campaign budget." She has complete, total, unrestrained control. But just like in my story about my brother remodeling the house, sometimes you regret giving someone that much freedom. Okay, 8. Get out of hand. Number 8 is get out of hand. We commonly use this to talk about situations. If a situation gets out of hand, then it loses control, gets bigger quickly, and becomes difficult to manage. How to use it effectively? This is almost always used to describe a negative transition. Something starts small and manageable, but quickly spirals into chaos, noise, or violence. You typically use it to describe parties, meetings, arguments, or even internal emotions like stress or spending. You might say, "The children were just playing, but when they started throwing things, the whole afternoon got out of hand." It implies intervention was needed. Imagine a small birthday gathering. If people start shouting, breaking things, or fighting, we say, "Wow, that party got completely out of hand." The situation spiraled out of control and became chaotic. Okay. 9. Sit on one's hands. Now, if I'm sitting on my hands, what can I do? Well, I can do nothing because my hands are down there and I'm sitting on them. So if someone is sitting on their hands, that means they are failing to take action, especially when action is clearly needed to solve a problem or capitalize on an opportunity. How to use it effectively? This idiom is often critical and implies laziness, indecisiveness, or ignoring the problem. It means being inactive or passive when you should be proactive. It's used when someone delays doing something important or ignores a developing crisis. For instance, the financial report showed the company was in trouble, but the board just sat on their hands until it was too late to save it. They failed to take action when it was desperately needed. Okay, 10. Change hands. Number 10 and our last idiom is change hands. If something changes hands, then it changes ownership. That is, the property, item, or business is sold or transferred from one owner to another. How to use it effectively? This is a very clean, straightforward phrase usually used in real estate, business news, or when discussing expensive items like classic cars or artwork. It avoids the formality of was purchased or was acquired and focuses simply on the transition of who holds the item. For example, the rare ancient manuscript changed hands at the auction for a record-breaking $10 million. Let's talk about a famous building. The old cinema on Main Street has changed hands again. This is the third time it's been sold in 5 years, meaning so many different owners have had the property. I'm not sure I want that car. All right, so that's our 10 idioms with hand, or with the word hand. Now we're going to do a test to see how many of these you can use correctly. All right, on the screen, I've got 10 sentences with blanks in them. Your job is to fill each blank with the correct idiom. Now, pause the video and think about your answers to all of these. When you're ready, play the video again and I will give you the answers. All right, let's look at the answers. I can't reach this top shelf. Could you give me a hand and grab that box of sugar for me? Meaning, can you help me with a physical task? Ever since the twins were born, Maria really has her hands full and barely has time to sleep. Meaning, she is very busy. Now that the contract signing is over, the execution of the construction plan is entirely in their hands, meaning it is their responsibility. It was a huge surprise when the iconic waterfront hotel suddenly changed hands last week to an unknown buyer, meaning ownership transferred. After the third failed business attempt, he decided to finally wash his hands of the whole venture, meaning he ended his involvement. Our tour guide has lived here for 40 years, so he knows this ancient city like the back of his hand, meaning he knows it intimately. The CEO made a mistake when he gave a free hand to the VP of sales, allowing him to hire anyone he wanted, meaning he gave complete control. She was nervous, but decided to try her hand at pottery during her vacation, meaning she tried it for the first time. The crowd started surging towards the stage, and we worried the concert security wouldn't stop the situation from getting out of hand, meaning becoming out of control. The company should have launched the new product months ago, but the management chose to sit on its hands instead, meaning they failed to take action. All right, did you get them all right? I hope you did. Make sure to keep practicing these idioms in your own speech. Remember to subscribe to this channel by clicking the subscribe button below, and I will see you in another lesson.